The following may contain language which will be offensive to some people and inappropriate for children. Still here? Then pour your favorite beverage and let's get this fucking show started.
Fantastic Forum, assemble. You are watching Fantastic Forum, the premier show about comic books and your live weekly conversation about entertainment and geek culture. We are the Fantastic Forum, coming to you live and direct from FF Studios West, FF Studios Midwest, FF Studios East, all over the nation. Hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, as the case may be, depending on where you are in the world. And if you're not, you should stick with us. We'll help you take it up a notch. You have the usual suspects in the building. First, he is our riddle inside of an enigma, trapped in Chinese finger cuffs. You don't know him. You love him anyway. He's our silent assassin, Jay.
Hey, what's up?
Next, he is our intrepid senior reporter. He's next in line for Cal. He's our resident Dark Knight detective. It's Oz.
Y'all excited? Stargirl's back?
Yeah. I heard you got fat.
Oh, you sons of bitches. You don't tread over my intro with nonsense. The next, he's the backbone. He's the pillar. He's the strength of Fantastic Forum. Our nigh invulnerable brawler and resident strongman, Moses Magnum.
All right, P211.
There it is. Pour out a little liquor.
Pour it in.
And last, potentially least, my name is Lawrence Young. They call me Mir Young. Welcome to Fantastic Forum. We got a great show for you today. We are actually going to be talking to you all about the Suicide Squad, the movie that came out this past weekend. And I don't even know if it, I don't even know what you want to call it. Soft reboot. I don't know if you want to call it sequel. I don't know what it is, but we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk to you also about the comic that came out recently, Suicide Squad Get Joker, #1, as well as Superman and the Authority, #1. So we got DC full show. It's a fandom cornucopia of Detective Comics-ish comics. Yeah, okay. So, before we do that, we want to make sure that we thank Mr. Scott Rubin, who without him, this show would not have existed. So, I want to say, hey, thanks, Scott. Hope you're doing well. And we also want to make sure that we tell you all how it is you can get down with Fantastic Forum in case you've seen or read any of those things. So, I'm going to ask the intern to take it away.
Want to get in on the action? Call Fantastic Forum on Skype and join the fun. Too shy to call in? That's okay. You can join the Discord chat room available at
FantasticForum.live.
Join the party. You know you want to.
Thank you for all your hard work, intern. Appreciate you. Yeah, gents, how's everybody doing? You all feeling good? You all feeling great? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm
Got a new T-shirt.
I see. I like it. Even though I feel like that design should be a little higher up.
It should.
Okay. Like, I'm not knocking it, mind you. I'm just saying that, it's kind of like how, you remember how Tupac was like, I got that thug life tatted on my chest. But then it's like really on his belly, though. Like, that's what it feels like. It feels like you got that, you got that tatted on your belly, but you meant to put it higher. Like,
Right.
yeah, but it's okay. Look,
what is the rabbit and the keyboard or piano keys? What else?
Yeah. Rabbit, keyboard, house, wolf, laptop.
Okay. Why don't you stand up and give us a little twirl, man?
Wait, are you ready?
All right.
and tell the people what that is.
Oh, that's my album cover.
Joe's album cover.
And
Yeah.
look, Jay? Like, oh my god, do I have to teach you how to promote? Like, you're not gonna say the name of your album?
Oh, they know. But if they don't know, my album Foundation, under my stage name J Random, it's a cool little lo-fi EDM album. You could catch it anywhere you stream music. Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, man. It's definitely on my title playlist. I love it.
I think our intro is a sample of one of the songs, right?
Our intro, no. That's
Yeah.
Oh, that was
not
unique
from
for
your
us.
album.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a hidden track.
It's gonna be on the reissue 40 years from now.
There it is.
Like
Right.
the B side of the 30th anniversary is our first show.
I love it.
I gotta
man.
check an email because I got 666 unread messages and it's been bugging me.
I love it. Look, that's that
And
old
you
school
would.
Catholicism.
Yeah, you speak. I gotta.
He's like, I gotta unwhammy this.
Well, I
Yeah.
can't.
He's
I
like-
can't just do one because then another one will come in, and I know Mo's getting ready to send me just to bring the number back up. So
In
I
fact,
gotta,
Look, that served you right for not clearing out your fucking inbox.
yeah, 600
What
is our Google alerts for news stories I was supposed to do.
What if I told you the number of the beast is a mistranslation of?
It's 1999.
No, you're hilarious. No, it's not like they want.
dream, so it's backwards and upside down.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I remember reading that they actually mistranslated one of the numbers, and so it's actually not 666. It's actually 616.
Earth
So
Six.
that's how you know. That's how you know how Marvel got all their success.
And that makes sense because Disney is the Babylon. They're creating the new mythology, the new idolatry.
It's all connected.
Did
It's
you
all connected.
did you just Mephisto? Adding Mephisto all up on me? Like,
It's
we're not
not-
done with that guy?
That's also a mistranslation of the word. It's not Mephisto, it's McFisto.
All connected.
I think Mephisto is he's on Pornhub.
Oh, jeez. Oh, look.
No, Masters of the
Look.
Universe has a character named Fisto too. So I mean, it's not like not two, like also. So whoa, Jay's hiding that.
What
that
is-
shit now.
What is that?
What?
That's a
Oh, your laptop?
Yes.
Got it. Wow. Impressive.
So anyway,
Yeah, I agree.
Literally,
Anyway is the right way.
Sorry, I'm having an issue with my camera.
Oh, I'm sorry, friend.
it actually
Well,
looks
listen.
good right now.
Say again?
It actually looks really good right now.
Okay.
I think it looks better than before you dropped out. So whatever you did, it's better.
Oh, good.
Cool. So, yeah, let's go ahead and have the intern. Oh, we already did the intern.
Yeah.
So, yeah, basically, call in. We'll take actually now's a good time as any to take a friggin' comment out of chat and bring it into the show, such as insert witty chat comment here, Jay.
Tiger Claw says the Suicide Squad was really good, better than the first one. James Gunn outdid himself with this. I think he should be put in charge of the DCEU.
Oh, perfect. Thank you for the segue, Tiger Claw. Let's play that theater music. Play the theater music. Where's my music? Where's my music? Theater.
Comic book theater.
Indeed. Thank you once again, Tiger Claw, for that beautiful segue. The Suicide Squad, the latest DC movie. It's James Gunn's take on DC Comics' most expendable super team. It's composed mostly of villains, and in this movie, they're going to be sent to a fictional country to uncover the details of a secret project codenamed Starfish, and hilarity ensues. Right, so the film stars Idris Elba, Margot Robbie, Viola Davis, friggin' John Cena, Sylvester Stallone, and basically that's it in a nutshell as far as like the I guess I should also say spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the Suicide Squad movie, there's going to be at least some light spoilers. So I just want to go ahead and put that out there because I know these guys, they're going to spoil you some. Don't say you weren't warned, because you were. But if you have seen it and you want to talk to us about it, please feel free to join in the conversation. Hit us at FF Live and hit the call-in button, and we'll get you in here. Or jump into chat and let us know what you think, like Tiger Claw did. Real quick, let me start with this. Jay, Tiger Claw said James Gunn should be put in charge of the DCEU. Jay, you say yay or nay to that?
I honestly don't know enough about the guy.
I mean, you've seen at least a good portion of his superhero movies, right? So
You've seen all his movies.
not all his movies, but
Yeah, you saw Super, right? With Rainn Wilson?
Which one?
A Super? Where the guy, like the real life superhero guy that bangs the little boy looking girl?
No, I saw the end of that, which was awesome.
Yeah.
why did you only see that?
It was playing when I came in the room.
Got it. Okay. You seen Guardians of the Galaxy?
And you saw
Yeah.
Slither?
That was okay.
You saw Slither?
So what?
Slither?
I did see Slither. Yeah, Slither was good.
Yeah.
Jojo.
Yeah, okay, he could do it.
I was like,
Yeah.
never mind.
He loves him.
Oz, should James Gunn be put in charge of the DCEU?
No.
No. There you go. Moses Magnum, James Gunn in charge of the DCEU?
Look, I'm gonna give you a long-winded answer from a comic book reader standpoint, and I can't, But it's
Look,
much.
look, if you're giving me a long-winded answer, focus in on them. You're focusing on them.
So, much like the comics would have like Chuck Dixon doing all the Bat books, and then like Mark Waid all the Superman books. And I think that's how they should do the structure of the DC universe, because they got a good guy here with James Gunn doing the Suicide Squad. He could do that type of movie, and he could do other superhero movies too, but something a little bit more off the beaten path, something a little like the ancillary. Like he could do a Gotham Knights movie, and I wouldn't put him in like Batman movie, you know what I mean? Or I would put him in like a Teen Titans movie or a Red Hood and the Titans movie, but not a Justice League movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I would do it for James Gunn. I think he's an integral part of what they can do to structure it. I don't think he'd be I don't think any of these movie universes should have just one person at the top making the universe, framing the universe. It should be a collaborative effort, like how it's been. You got Kevin Feige doing the big business thing, but then you got a good group of directors doing this, and they shuffle around and move when they needed to. With like the Russo brothers and shit like that.
So you don't feel like Kevin Feige is like the creative vision behind the MCU?
He might be, but he's not making any movies. James Gunn is a filmmaker. He's got to make movies. So if you put him in charge of the whole universe,
I hear you.
From either making movies or you're going to have him make every movie, and that's not what you should do.
It's like how they put Jim Lee in charge of DC when he just wants to draw stuff.
Right. That's a great example.
Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay. It's like he's talented, but he's not the guy for that's not his talent, is what you're saying. Like him being the guy over all the movies is not what his talent is. So and you wanna play to people's strengths. You feel like James Gunn's strength is making a particular type of movie that would be good for particular characters.
Right. You never put in football. You never put your kicker to throw your free throws. You know.
I'm sorry. Oh, dude, I love it. I love it. Sports metaphors on Fantastic Forum are the best metaphors. There it is. Okay. Well, look. With that said, let's go ahead and talk about what we all thought individually about. Just give us a little beginning overview of what you all thought of the Suicide Squad. I'm gonna start with you, Oz. You're our resident DC guy. Like, what were your thoughts on the Suicide Squad, the new movie?
If Guardians of the Galaxy is James Gunn shackled by the mouse, like Guardians of the Galaxy maybe had too much studio interference, but the Suicide Squad kind of felt like it didn't have enough. Like maybe just a little bit. Like the movie's great. It's a classic action movie, and it's great popcorn movies. Sit there, lose yourself in a decent story for a couple hours. A little gory. I mean, like if I see a dude's face explode,
yeah,
you can let me know that this dude just got shot in the face without me seeing half of it, fly out, and then him laying there with half a face missing. But.
So what you're saying is you want a DC Black version of Suicide Squad?
Just maybe a little bit toned down, and I'm hesitant to even say that because DC will take it way too far, and we'll get like a G-rated Suicide Squad.
So you feel like the R rating was a mistake, maybe? Then was that what I'm hearing? Like, or you're saying like R rating is fine, but not for violence. You wanted it to be like.
I think the R rating might have been a little bit of a mistake financially, but
gotcha.
Aesthetically for the movie, I think a Suicide Squad should probably be R rated.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe tone down a little bit, just a little bit. You don't have to go to 11. Just make 10 a little bit louder, and you don't need 11.
Got it. Moses Magnum, what was your take on the Suicide Squad?
5 out of 5.
I don't think we're there yet, but okay.
The thing is, like Oz was saying, I had this conversation at the shop, a couple days ago, where they're asking, like, you think that the R rating is part of what made it good? And I said, no, it doesn't need to be R rating because comics aren't generally R rated. There's some that are and some that aren't, and you just get a different perspective, a different story in those more R-rated books. But you don't need to do a good comic book or adaptation or based upon type movie to be like, you could even do a Deadpool PG-13 movie, and if you do it right, it'll be good.
Of course,
but I do believe this R rating was used properly. They didn't get crazy with the language. They showed like one titty, and it wasn't, it was because of the scene of the story and that part of the story. It worked. It's not even like gratuitous. It wasn't even that hot, and then it's all for the violence, which is great to me. Like, if you tell me that there's an incendiary device that blows up in your brain, like, I want to see that happen. I hear you.
That sounds like on brand for Moses Magnum. Not mad at that. Jay, go ahead.
No, it sounds on brand for Jay too.
Jay, what was your take on the Suicide Squad?
Overall, I liked it. Like, I thought it was pretty good. I think they did the character interactions really well. The chemistry between everyone was like really good. Believable. I liked the mission. Like, it didn't feel grandiose. It felt like something that the Suicide Squad would do.
Right.
So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
And overall, I think it was like, pretty good. And if I could speak on the whole R rating, good or bad thing, I will say the best Suicide Squad movie was PG-13, and it was amazing. So Mo is right that you don't need an R rating to have a good Suicide Squad movie.
Mhm.
But I think they did use it well here.
Well, look, let me help you real quick. Well, it's not really helping you. It's helping the people not in the know. Please tell the folks what Suicide Squad movie you're referring to, so they don't think mistakenly that you're talking about the Suicide Squad movie, the last one from the DCEU. That's what there's some people watching or listening right now that are thinking that that's the movie you're talking about, but that's
they're
not it.
insane. They have not been watching. Welcome to the show. If you think that, welcome. I guess it's your first time tuning in.
Welcome to 2021.
But no, that is absolutely not the Will Smith abomination. No, the best Suicide Squad movie is the first. Batman Assault on Arkham. It's the Suicide Squad is going in to Arkham. They infiltrate Arkham in order to kill the Riddler. And actually, that wasn't. I don't think that was their main job, but that was like the side job. Yeah, it's amazing. Like,
Yeah.
when I talk about the chemistry between characters, like, it was amazing. And the way it breaks down at the end, it just makes sense because these are all terrible people.
Mhm.
So when there's a chance to, like, get out of the mission alive, it's like, they're not, let's work together. It's like, me first. And
Mhm.
it's really great. And I love the characters. Harley and Joker were like really good in it, especially Joker. Like, he was done particularly well, I think, for as little as he's in it. Like, he's done very well,
Yeah.
and it's just an amazing 5 out of 5 movie.
Awesome. Yeah, you're talking about the anime, the Assault on
Yeah.
Arkham. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
5 out of 5. Like,
Yeah.
you can definitely go out and watch that.
Cool. So the Suicide Squad, basically about the Suicide Squad movie. I basically felt very much what Joe felt, so I'm not going to hold you all hostage and repeat. But yeah, I liked it. So with that said, I liked it a lot. So with that said, why? What?
Somebody else pointed this out to me that watched it, but it made a whole lot of sense. And just like how Jade put a review for a different movie in this review of this movie, James Gunn made a Harley Quinn movie and threw it into this Suicide Squad movie. Like, it has its own arc, like it has a love interest, and
he did that for every character, which is part of what makes this movie so great. Like,
exactly.
It felt like reading the first trade paperback of like a New 52 type comic for the Suicide Squad.
Every character has a solid arc.
When that started, like at the point that she's wearing the dress, and I was sitting there like, this is like it felt like it just slowed down the action. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Oh, this is where DC told them, well, Margot Robbie is a big star, so you better give her some time. And I'm like, okay, all right, oh, okay, she's in love with this dude, and then bam, she shows you how crazy she is.
But you don't feel like,
I think she had a point.
No, I'm saying it felt slow, and then you get to that part, and it's like right back in. Like, it was all a setup to just hit you over the head with how crazy she is, because people forget she's crazy. And I like that it was like, look, anybody watching or listening, or even you guys, anybody who's ever dated somebody truly crazy, like that's the most realist scene there is. You'll be having a conversation and just out of nowhere, just frying pan to the head or something like that. Like, stuff just well, I like that they truly represent how crazy she is.
And the beauty of it is that while she's growing as a person and learning and becoming somebody that could potentially be a better partner to somebody, she still acts crazy. Like it's an extreme crazy solution to that problem, but it's also a heroic one because this is like a bad dude.
Yeah,
Too, and it's part of the mission too. So, but it's just how that was the solution to fix that pattern of hers, and completing the mission all in one is crazy.
Yeah. So let me ask this question: the four of us watched the Suicide Squad. We all liked it. Maybe there might be a slight difference in degree in how much we liked it. Maybe, but even then, at the end of the day, I think we all were like, we like this movie. It's a good movie. Tell me why it didn't perform the way that you would think it would at the box office. What's your take? Why do you feel like this? Because I mean, for all intents and purposes, the movie underperformed, considering that it was like $185 million movie, and then another $100 million for the friggin' budget. So like the marketing budget. So. Why do you feel like, despite this movie being so much better than the last one, why do you feel like people didn't go see it, whether it be in the theaters or, I don't know. Like, I guess I don't know. Yeah, you tell me.
I think it's a combination of things. The most common thing that I'm hearing is with the recent uptick in Delta, people are a little bit more cautious about going out to movie theaters, and that may be so. I think what had a bigger effect is that Warner Brothers is doing streaming day one of the release of the movie
with the HBO Max
for no extra charge. So there's no like with Black Widow, you think, well, I could pay $30 and watch it at home, or for the same money, I can go to a theater and get that whole experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot more people watched it at home that wanted to watch it. I also think there's a little bit of a stigma from the original, because I've had people ask me, "Hey, is this movie going to be any good? I mean, it's got the same characters. It's a sequel." Like, some people don't even know really the name James Gunn. You have to tell them, "Oh, well, Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, yeah, I like that. Oh, the same dude." Or Slither. Oh, yeah, the same dude.
Yeah.
So it's I think all of it together just kind of, combined to form this of Voltron a disappointment. Because the movie's good.
No, it's real good. I agree. Moses Magnum, do you have anything to add to that?
I think I pretty much agree with what he says. I think that's part of the problem. A little bit of the Delta's on the rise, given the stink of the other two, because there's the Suicide Squad movie, and then there's also the fantabulous, supercalifragilistic Harley Quinn movie, because associate that too, which wasn't good.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So that's two already. Like to a lot of people, this is the third one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Based on those two, this movie's not gonna be to die for. Yeah.
Man, wait a minute. Did this this chick's played Harley Quinn like
3 times?
Like 3 times in the last 4 or 5 years already?
Yeah.
Dang, that's crazy.
So I think between the Delta variant, but also the day and day release, because look, it did amazing by streaming numbers. HBO should. I know they don't like to do commercials, but if they sold ad space, they would have made some money. Yeah.
But did it do amazing by streaming numbers, or did it just do good for HBO Max?
Well, look, HBO Max isn't entirely a slouch in the streaming game.
No, and I'm not saying it is, but I guess what I'm saying is,
it was
I don't know what that means. Like, I know what they told us, which was that it was like the second highest stream thing on premiere thing on HBO Max, which, I mean, I'm not saying that that's not worth mentioning,
right?
If you don't give us any numbers in regards to how many streams that actually is, then that's just I mean you're measuring against yourself.
We're talking about platinum record sales, it's a different era. Like, the numbers, the title is what matters, not the actual numbers. Somebody
no,
could.
no, 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 no. See, but then you can't say that though, because while I feel you in the sense that you could be like, okay, like what it means going platinum is a little different now than it was then, but the number is still the same number, right?
No,
It's not.
it's not.
It's not a
It was-
million records.
It used to be. It used to be number units sold, like
Right.
code scanned.
Okay.
Now it could be streams,
Oh well, but okay.
and it's like streams aren't necessarily sales. Yeah,
But no, I'll give you. But you can't.
so
You don't go.
it's easier to move 40 million units by today's standards than it was in 1987.
And streaming
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean streams like you bought the song or the
Right.
album. It means it just got streamed. So it's like saying back in the day they counted radio play.
Right.
But that's the thing, though. I don't think streaming like you can like. I'm not saying streams don't count towards anything, but you don't go platinum through streaming because you can't. You don't. People don't stream necessarily an entire album.
Right. But that's why everybody releases singles. Like they get.
Well, yeah, but that's a different metric. Is what I'm saying. Like
No.
people.
The thing is they have an equivalency. The streams count for a unit sold. You know.
Right, but for the song, not the album.
I think, like I said, I'm not entirely 100% sure on what it is, but what I do know is that
Mhm.
if you listen to the same song like 12 times, well,
Right, that's
if
like
it-
a unit. Like somebody bought that song, basically.
right,
Right. No,
Yeah.
I'll give you. I think you're right in that, and they'll give you something for the song for the single.
right, but it goes
Right.
towards your platinum status.
I'm unaware of that, and I don't like. But okay, so if that's the case, then I understand what you're saying because you're like, however that works. So
No,
so we're saying like the new metric is biggest. The second biggest thing on HBO Max means something.
it means something, yeah, because it was
Okay.
only been out for 8 days, yeah, and it was
That's
number
fair.
2 on Monday, you know.
That's fair.
And I'm
That's fair.
sure it's, you know, and it's probably going to get traction. We're probably going to see a maybe a better number second week
Mhm.
in theaters from word of mouth.
Oh, you think so? You think
I
it's gonna go up?
I don't know if it's going to go up, but maybe it'll do the same amount. You know, because it's also people not wanting to go to theaters. You know, some theaters have capacity limits, so it's not like they can sell out a theater. So by virtue of it, it's 40% less than what it could have gotten in
No,
2019.
I
you
don't
know?
believe that's the problem we're having here. But I
No,
hear
I
what you're saying though.
Yeah, like it's
Like there are people outside of theaters like I just want to go in to see the Suicide
Yeah.
Squad, and they're like, no, because COVID.
Personally,
Tiger Claw says it's going to go up against Free Guy this weekend.
I think Free Guy's gonna be a flop too.
Really?
Especially after they gave away the villain.
Oh, I didn't see that they gave it to them. But
It was in the trailer, dude. The main character is Guy. The main villain is gonna be Dude.
oh, I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, it's hilarious.
Thanks for spoiling us.
It's right. It's Ryan Reynolds, but super roided up.
Why doesn't Oz like us to have fun?
Just
Like, were you really gonna try to see Free Guy?
Oh, I'm gonna watch it. Yeah. Free Guy
No,
looks
no. Were
hilarious.
you gonna try to see it in the theater and everything?
Oh, is it only playing in theaters?
Yeah.
I mean, look, I would love to go to a theater and watch Free Guy. I don't know that I'm gonna get that opportunity. So, I mean, like, trust me, like, there's I wanted to see Black Widow in theaters. I didn't get the opportunity to do that. I would have loved to have seen the Suicide Squad in theaters. I didn't get that opportunity, but that's like a personal thing. Like, I feel like because of circumstances.
yeah. If
So-
all the stuff going around you, it's not Delta or any of that. It's just other stuff keeping you right.
Yeah, exactly. Like I would have went to go see Black Widow in the theater, but yeah, other circumstances prevented that from happening. So, Jay, do you have anything to add in regards to why you feel like Suicide Squad didn't make the impact at the box office that it probably should have.
No, I think you guys touched on the major points. Like,
Okay.
people are shy from the last movie being terrible. I heard someone say that not having Will Smith in it was keeping people away, but I don't know if that's true. Like,
Elba makes up for that, right? Like, he's better than
in
Will
my
Smith.
mind, he's a
Yeah.
better actor.
He's hotter.
Like, Will Smith hasn't been on point for a while.
I mean, you could see where it was supposed to be Deadshot, and they had to rewrite it for Idris Elba. But dude's got talent, and I mean,
no, he's fantastic.
Viola Davis is way better in this one than she was in the original. Yeah. I mean, I see the stripes on her whenever she says something.
I don't like the freak out.
It's just better dialogue. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's just a better written movie.
Look, Viola Davis was good in the first one, and it's because she's Viola Davis, not because she had great material. You know? So, yeah, she elevated that joint. But, go ahead, Mo.
One of the things I thought made this movie better, and it's a little key thing, because the first one could have had this too, but I think not having to be tethered to the DC universe, extended universe, cinematic universe, helped it a lot. Like you said earlier in the intro, like, it can't be I don't know if I should call it a sequel or reboot or whatever, and it's just the next one. That's really it. It's like comics.
Yeah.
It's just the next one. You know, after that creative team, you stop buying the comic. You get a good creative team to jump back on, you know, or
right.
From the standpoint, you just buy it and don't read it, you know? And that's what delighted me so much about watching this, aside from it being well done, is that this is how comic movies need to be made. Like, don't give up because it wasn't a success. Just make a next one that's good.
Yeah.
You know, and then it's going to be harder for people to see it because, you know, we got a lot to go up against. But then the next one will be the success, you know?
So it's like, listen, that last $240 million, that was just an investment for your next $1 billion joint coming in the third one.
Look how many Venom series how many Venom comic series did we get till we get like the King in Black that sells a bunch of shit, you know?
Listen, and you're right. And you know me, I still don't understand it, even though like King in Black is not a bad story, but I don't know what the hype. Like, it's just about people that were like, I like what this guy's doing with Venom, and they followed it for years and years.
Yeah.
So I think that's his investment. So, but that's fair.
So real quick,
go ahead, Jay.
From chat, Hexzilla says, I was gonna call in, but babysitting. So I'll just say I like Suicide Squad. Makes no sense, but it was fun. Tiger Claw. I don't know.
Go ahead.
Tiger Claw says, I gotta say, Idris Elba is having a great year. Bloodsport was one of the best characters in the whole movie. He carried it throughout.
I would argue Ratcatcher too. Like, just stole my heart.
She was they did her so well. Like, I don't even care about Ratcatcher, and I cared about her in this movie. Like, you know, it's an expendable team, and they make you care about them. Like, if their bomb goes off, even Peacemaker.
How you gonna put Taika Waititi in the movie for a minute and a half and make me shed a tear?
Yeah.
Well, that Taika Waititi is amazing. Like, he'll do that.
He looks crazy, and it's still like such an impactful moment. I was like,
they're like the blanket of rats. But no, that scene where Peacemaker just says, like, the people knowing the truth isn't going to help anybody. You know, like that little dilemma, that millisecond of dilemma between his ideals and his job and his duty and everything. And it's like, that is fucking.
Yeah.
It could have been better acted, but it was a powerful 10 seconds of film, of cinema. Fuck you, Martin Scorsese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of meat to these characters, which you don't expect, like even in Suicide Squad, because half the time, like even in the book we're gonna review later, they're just cannon fodder. Like the writer wrote it in, and like half of these cannon fodder. Like it's just that's how a lot of these books are. And once they did all the killing, they're like, okay, you're as a viewer, you're like, okay, is his head gonna blow up right now?
Yeah.
And they still managed to kill a bunch of people.
A lot of like just amazing lines like that, like how you describe it. Like there's one moment where he doesn't want that info to get out, and it's on a hard drive, and the person's like, well, why don't you just destroy the hard drive? Why do you got to kill me? He's just like, because I'm thorough. I was like, I understand what he's saying. Like it makes perfect sense, but it still feels kind of cold blooded, even though
not kinda.
That's what you kind of got to do.
Yeah,
because he could still talk, and let out the information.
My man's an operative,
dude. Right. And just him and Rick Flag, like that fight, and then Rick, because they're the same. Like even Bloodsport too. Like they putting those three characters together, stroke of genius, because they do the same things for different reasons and with different methods and different values. Right. And you really see that, and it's something the first Suicide Squad movie didn't have. He didn't give a fuck about any of these characters. And it's like, in some little part of me, it's like, well, you're not supposed to care about these characters when you're reading a single issue. But if you're looking at it like this movie, like the arc of a trade paperback, you kind of have to care about at least two, But this one, it's a great fucking movie.
Did James Gunn write this movie too?
I don't think so. He could have.
Okay. Like maybe you can look that up for me, Jay. Like who wrote this?
No, and that's not to say there weren't a few missteps. I think.
No, I mean, they're missteps, but before we get there, because we can talk about them, but before we get there, I just want to say that.
Movies, sorry, in terms of DC movies, these missteps were still better than whole movies.
Absolutely,
absolutely. It was written by Gunn.
Okay, by himself.
That's what IMDb says.
Okay, all right. Listen, IMDb should be giving credit to everybody, but it's one of these things where it's written very smartly, and just like how you said, you have Peacemaker, you have Flag, you have friggin' Deadshot or Bloodshot? What's Idris Elba's character's name now? Bloodsport. Jeez, man. Like you got Bloodsport, and Gunn writes that into the movie, where he's like, "What is he here for? Like he does what I do," and he's like, "Yeah, but I do it better," which is just like another one of the kick-ass lines. Like I'll just say it, I do. He does what I do what you do, but I do it better. But it's just like to address it right off the bat, so that okay, there's a reason for these two characters to exist, and which is one of these things where it's like, and again, spoilers. So if you you're gonna want to see this movie either way if you haven't seen it. But this is just a little bit of a spoiler in the sense that when you get to the point where you have these two guys facing off against each other, it's like a lot of movies, they make the protagonist and the antagonist like a mirror of one another. And often, especially when you talk about big budget Hollywood movies, that's done very generically. Like honestly, for me, I felt like that about Iron Man, with how they did, friggin' Ironmonger, where it's like it was especially at the time, it was like, okay, this is cool because they're doing it well, they're executing it well, but it's still very generic, and that generic kind of thing is something you see in a lot of movies, not just superhero movies, but across the board, where you're like, oh, it's like the dark version of it, and sometimes they do it better.
Marvel do that a lot.
That scene was, to me anyway, even deeper than how you're saying it, because Bloodsport is telling Peacemaker, or actually, well, he's saying this dude does what I do. Well, they both do what Deadshot does, which is who was supposed to be in the movie. So it's like it's just a little bit deeper, more cerebral.
I mean, yeah, sure. But we don't need Deadshot. Like, he's not there. That's okay.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it's like, no.
That's
like,
kind of what
I don't know.
I'm saying is like I got two other people that do what Deadshot does.
Right. And then on top of that, but Mo mentioned, you got Rick Flag, who's like a better version, or not better, but like a more moral version of both of those two guys. And and it's I mean, just how everything plays out throughout the movie, it's like, oh wow, like, man, like it hits you, especially if you are like kind of following it from a thematic standpoint. But it's one of these things where it's written really well in that aspect, and it makes, even though it's like doing some tropey stuff, it's executing it so well that it doesn't feel like a trope. It feels like I don't know if I'll go so far as to say as a fresh take, but it's just executed so well that it doesn't matter that the trope's being used. The other thing I wanted to make sure I say about this movie before we get to the negative aspect is, and this piggybacks off of Mo, is there's a lot of little things it does in this movie that make it feel very much like it's a comic book movie. And when I say that, I mean like it has subtle nods to like a comic book, like how it has like the little chapter breaks, and how it has like the titles and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that happens in a comic sometimes, and it happens in movies every so often, but a lot of the time it's like, I mean, most of the movies I know that do that are comic book movies. And some embrace it more than others, and just also through the characterizations and like, huh?
Like they do it in Frasier.
Rat the Man did it.
Oh, there you go. And so,
And I think a lot of the Guy Ritchie movies do it.
That's true. Guy Ritchie loves the chapter breaks.
Tarantino too.
Tarantino does it so often. You're right.
In Pulp Fiction, all that.
Yeah, but at the same time too, Tarantino, like, I feel like almost that's like a different thing, because like you always have to do that because Tarantino likes to make like 6 movies in one, right? Like,
it's like a trade paperback. Like Pulp Fiction is a trade paperback of different stories of these characters.
Like Pulp Fiction is damn near, like, if it wasn't Tarantino making it, somebody else would be calling that an anthology.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so I just wanted to mention that, like, that was something I really appreciated about this movie, just because I like when, like, and the other part of it, like, I guess the biggest part of it that you have to mess around and talk about when you're like, okay, this movie feels very comic book like, in a way that a lot of, other superhero movies sometimes try to shy away from. Friggin' Starro, which, I mean, that's not a spoiler because we all see Starro if you know who Starro is, you see him in the trailer. But like what Starro looks like, which is basically like the comic, and how it interacts with everything in this movie, it's like, dude, like, I just love seeing Starro be Starro and people like interacting in that way. And it's like, thank you for like unapologetically doing Starro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Starro not that long ago would have been the kind of concept, like the same way how we got Galactus as like a cloud is the same way somebody would have made Starro like, some sort of like
fungus spores in the air.
Yeah, like right, like some kind of fungus spore, or like some kind of like frequency that people hear, or what I'm saying, like, it was like, what, like, like, and they're like, nah, it's a giant alien starfish, and it spits out little alien starfish to wrap around people's faces, and it's like, that's awesome, because it like, I know for me watching it, I was like, dude, this looks so much cooler than even I would have suspected in live action.
It was actually cooler than they do it in the comics, because when you peel off the star, it like rips their face off, and like you see them, and it's like face huggery, like, and I'm like, oh man, like, I was I April messaged me on our Instagram and was like, "What did you think?" And I said, "I loved it," but I'm like, "I want to hear what you thought." And she just replied like at the beginning of the show, but she didn't like it. She turned it off after 33. Her and Norm turned it off after 33 minutes. Yeah,
Really?
and they're like, "I don't know. It just doesn't. It was just bad at points." And
Wow.
it 33-minute mark, and then but part of it was the stink. I couldn't read all of it because I'm working here, but the stink of the other ones put them in the mindset to go
Yeah.
into, and that
There it is.
That's that's the problem. But
Yeah.
one of the things, it's like a lot of, if people don't, I've yet to really talk to somebody that didn't like it except for April, but I'm willing to wager it's like it's the issues you would have with reading a comic book, like why you don't read comics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
One of my things was like, I really love how they use Starro. They did it
Yeah.
well. They didn't have to they made it a project so you don't have to use it. Like, he doesn't have to be a kaiju. He doesn't have to be, you don't have to do all these extra things to show how crazy it is to deal with Starro. Aside from showing you old footage of but my favorite part was when right when he was getting defeated, and he just one of the Starro zombies looks to them and says, "I was happy just floating in space."
Right.
You guys did this to yourself, and it's to me, that's something that is not even in the comics,
Yeah.
But it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the things I appreciated is that because they're bad guys, they're doing their best to not they're not killing recklessly, but at some point when they're getting surrounded, it's you got to start killing.
Yeah.
And it felt like a really real moment to me.
Mm-hmm.
I love when they accidentally killed the good guys.
Yeah, that was a wild scene. That was actually pretty cool, though. Yeah, and the funny part was, I know for me, I was like, damn, I knew that was what was happening. Because I was just like, nah, that's not the same people. But I'm like, wow. Anyway,
they're villains, and it was all for just a dick swinging contest. That's the worst part. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oz, let's talk about the missteps. What was wrong with the Suicide Squad?
I think there was a few times that Gunn sacrificed what could have made the movie seem more epic for a joke, like the way they get rid of Polka Dot Man. I think just standing there, he could have been giving his all for the fight and died heroically, but he's just there, just standing there.
Mm-hmm.
I think the part that really bugged me though was when the Suicide Squad did, I guess technically their mission's finished, but Starro's on the loose, and they're like, okay, well, we gotta take care of this because people are getting killed, and Waller doesn't want them to do it. They go anyway. It's I don't understand, first of all, why at that point she really cares. I thought, okay, well, she wants these guys for another mission. She doesn't want them to just die. Their mission is complete. She wants them alive for the next mission, but then she's about to kill them anyway. So that kind of didn't make sense. And then for the way that they're allowed to continue their mission, that whole thing didn't really make sense. Waller would know that Starro's not going to stop at that little tiny island. He's just going to keep going and threaten the U.S. if that's her concern. So letting these guys try to do something, at least stall the thing until real superheroes show up, like Superman or whoever. If she doesn't care about their lives, she at the most I would have expected her to say is, look, that's not an authorized mission. If you succeed, great, but it's not going to take any time off because I didn't authorize that. That's you going on your own. And I would understand that. Okay, she doesn't care if they die, but she doesn't want him to do the mission, So like, it just felt weird, and it felt like it was just a setup for the Peacemaker TV show, because that's brought up again in the post credit, which I think is the setup for the Peacemaker TV show. It's just little things like that. The Harley Quinn, like I love the Harley Quinn escape, especially when she's got guns. Then you get to the point that she gets the javelin, and that like the way she takes out guards with the javelin, kind of like now it's more it's comic booky, so in a sense it's good, but at the same time, like visually, I'm like that. Hey, it's not even the cartoons or anything like that. I'm not even talking about that. I just the way the action goes out, the way it's choreographed, just was off. Really, like I wish she would have gotten to the door and then seen the javelin, like and then grabbed it, like not even used it. Like she just killed everybody with guns, or even her hand-to-hand fighting was great to watch. It was just her with the javelin just like bugged me. It just didn't. It looked awkward.
Okay, all right. Jay, why don't you tell me about any issues you had with Suicide Squad, and then also too, if we have any comments.
Yeah, I think my main issue was the Amanda Waller freak out. Cause it just doesn't feel like her. Like, even if they're going off script, like I don't feel like she's like gonna go out like just start spazzing out like that.
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel like Amanda Waller. And I think that was my main issue with the movie, aside from the little prologue where it felt disingenuous. I mean, it was fun and all, but it did feel really disingenuous.
When you said when you said the prologue, you're talking about what part?
The first team that went in.
Oh, gotcha.
Went in just to get killed. Like,
gotcha.
That felt disingenuous to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So those were my two main issues with the movie.
Okay. Anything out of chat?
And
I'm gonna come to you next, Mo.
Heck said that he had an issue with Peacemaker, that he couldn't see him.
I'm sorry.
Tiger Claw's asking what we thought of King Shark, and also what do we think of Polka Dot Man. Heck says last scene was my fave. Facebook user says I could have done without Harley Quinn swimming in eye liquid. Very train spotting. Tiger Claw says Waller didn't care about the lives of the people in the foreign country since they weren't allies to the U.S. And Heck says, you did that one already. And Heck says, I really want a Peacemaker Bloodsport buddy movie.
I'd watch that, even though it doesn't make sense based on the narrative. But I'd watch it.
I would want a Bloodsport movie. Like,
by himself.
Yeah. But or see him pop up in another DC movie. Yeah. The costume design was great. It looked really good.
I agree. Even though it doesn't look like Bloodsport, right? Like it's an alternate take, and it's good design, but it doesn't look like the character, right?
Well, there's two costumes for the character. One of them is that.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
It's like New 52 Bloodsport or something.
Oh, okay. I might have missed that. I don't know what New 52 Bloodsport was.
The helmet was amazing.
Yeah.
No, it looked fantastic. It's hard to knock it because it's so well designed.
He was a better.
I just was like,
yeah, he had a better Taskmaster. Yeah,
yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. 100%. Mo, you have any gripes with the movie?
I mean, it was I did the Waller thing when when they're going off script and doing their own thing,
Mhm.
and she made a point to say like our communications are off, but I can still blow you up, you know.
Mhm.
And you could make suppositions on why she didn't just kill him, but it was that was like okay, like why, why is that an issue? But ultimately, like the movie was good, so none of the
Yeah.
gripes really overpower my enjoyment of it.
Right.
They talked about Polka Dot Man dying just like that, and it was a little off, but I read somewhere that they were gonna kill Ratcatcher too, and then in the script writing process, James Gunn changed it because he's like he liked that character. It endeared him as he was writing it.
Mhm.
So he's like, you know what? Let's just get rid of Polka Dot Man because he's damaged beyond repair anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah. Yeah. I basically felt similar to how you did in regards to missteps. It was like there was nothing that I saw that I was like, oh, that
Yeah.
makes me enjoy it less because it's like negligible. So
Yeah. And like we talked
Yeah.
earlier about how people's perception of this kind of influenced the theatrical failure, in terms of sales. But it kind of past DC ventures have kind of put me in a point where this is a masterpiece.
Right. No, absolutely. I can hear that. I can definitely hear that. Like,
it's like the missteps. I don't even bother. Like, you know what? I don't care. Like,
right.
yeah. King Shark. I mean, I enjoyed King Shark. It was done well, and it's like the comedic take, and Stallone is I'm a big Stallone fan, so
Right.
he's in it. I didn't even know he was in it until the premiere, where he posted on his Instagram that with him with like as a shark, and I'm like, oh shit! Now I'm really. I didn't really watch the trailer that much. Like I watched a little bit of it, and I'm like, it looked good from the beginning, and then I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna watch anything because I'm already excited. I don't want to see anything that might turn me off before I even watch it. So.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% in the sense that until the like, and I know I'm sure you all reported it, and I probably just missed it, but until the credits were rolling. And I was like, Sylvester Stallone? Like, who is he in this movie? And then I was like, oh, and yeah, it's a cool take. I like it. Yeah, I like it. So, all right, let's do some ratings. Let's talk about what we would rate the Suicide Squad. Oz, why don't you go first, buddy?
4.5. Like
4.5.
I gave my opinions on what would have made it a 5. And to be honest, this movie's missteps I wish other DC movies made those kind of missteps.
Mm-hmm.
I can just overlook, like, I'm going to be nitpicky because I have to find a flaw in it, but it doesn't. it doesn't take away my enjoyment of the movie. Like it's something I got to think about on my way out. Like, now what was weird? Oh yeah, I felt a little weird when I saw that. Yeah, that didn't make sense. Okay, yeah, I'll talk about that on the show.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. Whereas, like, it's not Batman v Superman where you have like all these WTF moments. It's just like, why is this happening? So I hear that. Moses Magnum, what would you go ahead and rate the Suicide Squad?
I would give it a 5, man. Like
you did say that already, didn't you?
Yeah, but thinking about the missteps and stuff, but they still don't change the story. Like those missteps, if you actually just cut those out, the story still flows the way it's supposed to. So it's it's just done well. Like the effects were good, I'm like, wow. And then they had the Hulk smash moment with Nom Nom, which was great. Where he's like,
yeah,
monster is Nom Nom, and and then he goes for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Hulk smash. You know, what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It felt like the first Avengers movie. And you know, how amazing was that? Yeah,
Right, right. No, I hear you. I hear
that's a
you.
five. Like if that got five, this got five. Yeah,
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think I got to give it a 5 out of 5 as well, just because obviously it's not perfect, but what is? But the
yeah.
fact of the matter is, it's just a good, fun comic book movie with the characters acting like what the characters like. The fact that they got a comic book accurate Peacemaker on screen and it doesn't pull you directly out of the movie is a achievement in and of itself. Like I feel like comic book accurate Peacemaker on the screen, and you're just like, I can accept this, is right up there with a talking tree and a friggin' gun-toting raccoon.
He's he's walking through a jungle in bright red, white, and a chrome helmet, being stealthy, like, with a grossly extra large gun that he still puts a silencer on too. That's
Yeah.
also like, ridiculously large.
Yeah,
I don't even know where he kept that axe. Like he pulls out, like I haven't seen any like it's not dangling on his belt or nothing.
Right.
I know he had a backpack, but
right. And it's so funny because I feel like Peacemaker is one of those DC characters that, like, there's no good reason for most people to know who that character is. And I just happen to know. I feel like it might be from maybe like Armageddon or something. I don't know. Like, but I remember like reading like about, or not, I don't want to say about him, but reading stories with him in them, and just being like, wow, this is a weird ass character, but he's kind of cool. Like he's almost like a military grade Punisher kind of dude, and that's
the spin-off.
interesting. Well, but I get it, like especially when you have like Cena and like how he's doing his thing or whatever, where it's like that makes sense to me, where it's like him as doing the spin-off and the way he portrays that character, it's like yeah, like I would definitely give him a shot.
I was shocked. I couldn't see him in that role.
Really? Oh wow. Well, hey, that's fair. Like, listen, I get it. Like, you're so. Oh damn it, Oz. Oh, you got me. You got me.
For Larry, like this.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You got me. Good job.
Well,
Cheers.
I'm pretty sure I made that exact same joke when we talked about casting.
Yeah, you probably did, and I probably forgot, and I got caught by
I
it
can
again.
see the Peacemaker.
I agree with Hecht, who says I give it a 4 out of 4.5 because I would have rather King Shark from the Harley cartoon in this movie. I do miss smart King Shark.
I
Listen.
like that Shark, but yeah, I like this one too. I a little more intelligence in this one, especially with Stallone. Like, hey, what the fuck, like, but
and it's he's taking a lot of these new 52 versions of the characters, and there was a new 52 version where he was like that, and then I think when he got in the ocean or like something happened where he like all of a sudden he's smart, and it's like, well, they kept me like fucking dehydrated or something like that. They could have like, and it would have been like a surprising moment, like dude suddenly like speaking like perfectly and intelligent. But hey, the King Shark they did, I liked. I miss smart King Shark, but I don't have any problem with this.
I like the Harley Quinn animated King Shark, but that's because I like punches, not because that's what King Shark should be like. Because he's not that guy.
There is no what King Shark should be like because he's been so different too.
I mean,
some people have a problem that he wasn't a hammerhead.
Yeah.
Right. And don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying like King Shark definitely suffers from that in the same way like how, like a little bit like how Wonder Woman does. But the comedic, like, or I won't even say comedic, the King Shark you get on Harley Quinn, the animated Harley Quinn series, there's no King Shark like that. That's a completely different take yet again.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, okay, if you like comic book King Shark, none of them are like that character.
Right. But that's
Yeah.
the thing. It's like you can. That's why it's okay for this one to be like this.
I don't know. I will say this. I definitely at this point, like, I see Harley Quinn as like, Harley Quinn is 100% like the DC's Wolverine at this point for me. And so it's like Harley Quinn fatigue is a real thing. And it's like, if that version of King Shark was in this movie, that'd have been too much for me. I'd probably have a different take on the movie. I wouldn't be like it's bad, because I'm sure the person, like, well, if they were smart, they would have just gotten Funches to do it if that's what they were going to do, because Stallone can't do that. But like, it would have been too much, because I'd be like, okay, well, this is just basically another like Harley Quinn vehicle. And luckily, this movie did not feel that way, even though it had its Harley moments, but it also had its Peacemaker moments. It had its Polka Dot Man moments. It had, everybody had their moment, just like you mentioned. So
Heck says Hardy's in 12 other comics.
basically, right?
I think at least 5 or 6 of them right now.
He's
Oh,
part
yeah.
of the Bat family now too.
Yeah, look, trust me. It's like Harley Quinn is doing too much in the comics. She's doing too much animated. She's doing too much live action. Like we said, the Margot Robbie's been Harley Quinn 3 times in like 5 years. It takes a year and a half to make a movie.
I still want the Gotham City Sirens. Give me that one. Do that one next.
And you're okay. Look, I don't know why you're a friggin' masochist like this. Glutton for punishment.
Well,
You don't
because
know.
now they know what a good Harley Quinn looks like in movies.
Yeah. Have James Gunn do it.
He could do it. That movie, like, it's weird.
If James Gunn does it, then that might make me feel like it might have some hope, but I'm not gonna mess around and be like, oh, it's a lock.
James Gunn understands his audience. He gave everybody exactly what they wanted. Like, he was even like, dude, I know there's some foot fetishists out there. I'll give you that too. Check out this scene. Boom. He's got you. Whatever you're into, he's got you.
Yeah, okay.
What's
Okay.
that?
That's her breakout.
Oh yeah. That's foot fetish.
I mean, it's like the camera's focused on her foot, and she fucking
Yeah,
used it.
Yeah, I get it now, but I guess I just don't have a foot fetish. I didn't know.
No. It just turns out that
that's a Tarantino scene right there. Like,
this is
Tarantino
Moses.
day is like, hey, do this.
This is Moses coming to terms with just how big a perv Oz is.
It's like, can we do something like pussy fetish people?
What?
Like, can the movie do something for like pussy fetish people?
I mean, if you're into
Like, people put all this
like giant starfish, you know.
Yeah, but they only show it from the front.
If you want, when
okay.
you know, when the starfish came out, what did that look like?
Jay.
Oh, when it tried to like get on your face, it's just like eating ass. It's like,
Oh, Jay.
And then when they
What?
pull it out and it's all like fleshy.
yeah.
Oh, Jay. What's your rating on the Suicide Squad? Hurry.
He gives it 5 gaping assholes.
I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Like, the Amanda Waller freak out really bugged me, but everything else was brilliant, I thought.
Got it. Okay, cool. Let's talk about Suicide Squad Get Joker #1. Let's play some comic book reviews music.
Review.
Like
Review.
Well, not like that, but like
I love that. I do. So, Suicide Squad Get Joker #1. This is actually Brian Azzarello's take on DC Comics' most expendable super team. And once again, comprised mostly of villains. But the team is going to be sent to Gotham this time by Amanda Waller and led by the Red Hood, aka Jason Todd, with a mission to, as the book is titled, get the Joker, like to take out the Joker. And it's a 3-issue comic, prestige format, and so this is issue 1 of 3. It's the art. It's Brian Azzarello doing the writing. It's Alex Maleev doing the art, and this is the first time that these two creators have ever collaborated. So let's talk about what each of you thought about Suicide Squad Get Joker #1. Jay, give me your initial take real quick.
It was all right. Like, it's a little bit there.
Got it. A little bit there. I love it. I love it. That feels like classic Jay to me. It's a little bit there. Okay.
Did you read?
Jay,
That
did
sounds
you
like
read it?
It sounds like an Oz answer when he hasn't read.
He's doing it right now.
What?
Jay, you're reading it right now, Jay?
No, I read it the day we finalized that we were gonna read it.
Okay. Got
Like
it.
I read
Okay.
that and the Superman Authority one then.
Okay. Got it. Mos Magnum, what's your initial take on Suicide Squad Get Joker?
Like, I'm an Azzarello fan, so you know I love it. Like, I enjoy
They
it.
call you guys assholes, right?
Yeah, assholes, the fans, the Azzarello.
I
Yeah.
called you that for different reasons. I didn't realize.
But yeah, no, I mean it's well done. Look, the idea to put I don't know if it's been done before, but the idea to put the Red Hood to like have him lead the team against the Joker is genius. Yeah. And the way they get the Red Hood into the Suicide Squad is well done. And even like one of the vigilantes in there is like an insurrectionist from the Capitol riot. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's like really cool too. So
Yeah.
you know, Azzarello, I don't know if this is what Joe's problem with it, but it was a lot of dialogue, a lot of exposition, a lot of talking,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what Azzarello is known for. He's like the Tarantino
Yeah.
of comics. So
Yeah.
I knew, like, I loved that it was so much inner monologue, outer monologue, voiceover, and then dialogue, and then there was a little bit of a fight that just leads to a cliffhanger.
Gotcha. Okay. Oz, what was your take on Suicide Squad Get Joker #1?
I'm not gonna read #2 or however many of these books come out. One's fine. I'm done.
That's fair.
I'm not
Wow.
as big an Azzarello fan as Mo, but I'm a huge Maleev fan, and even he kind of like, I feel like he let me down a little bit.
Interesting. That's fair. Well, I will say, I personally really enjoyed this book, but full disclosure, I am both a Azzarello and Maleev fan. I can 100% say though that I do feel like this, like the work he did in this book, is a bit of a departure from, I think, what most people would think of as what his work is like his classic Maleev kind of stuff is. Like, you know, if you're like, oh, I read Maleev on, like, say, Daredevil, and I'm looking for that, you're gonna get a different art style here. Not drastically different, but it is different. It's like what?
Almost cleaner.
It is cleaner, 100%, 100%.
Which is
And
my back then for him, like especially on Scarlet. That was my biggest complaint. So
yeah,
for him,
exactly.
it's like, that's
Right.
Maleev's work.
Right. No, if you're looking for Scarlet, if you're looking for Daredevil, this is going to be different from that. But I think it still retains the Maleev style. It's just it is a cleaner kind of style, and I mean, if you draw and that's what you do for a living, you're gonna want to switch it up just to keep yourself interested, and like I don't want to say grow, because I don't think there's anything wrong with his older
Right.
style. Like, because I think this is good, and I think that back in the day is good. But I can understand if somebody's looking for that. This is not that. However, Azzarello, like, I'm a big fan of his particular dialogue choices as well, and I thought stuff that he did here was pretty interesting. And so, yeah, I'm gonna say I liked it. Let's bring everybody back into the conversation here, and I'm gonna tell you all what some of the things I liked about it, and you tell me what you all thought about it. I personally was a fan of, like, I like the succinct Jason Todd, like, origin. Like, I feel like, and when I say that, I mean, I can't say origin. I guess what I can say is the succinct Jason Todd, like,
Recap.
catch up, recap, right? Because they basically gave you, like,
DC Universe.
they basically gave you, like, what is that? Maybe like 20 or 30 years of history in what, 4 or 5 pages? Like, you literally get the entire story of Jason Todd, like, or I won't say the entire story, but you get the main bullet points of what you need to know in regards to Jason Todd, like, that he became Robin, that his Robin was different in this way, that he got killed by the Joker, that he came back to life and became the Red Hood. It's like, you get all that in literally like 4 pages. And I was like, dude, like, that's pretty amazing, because it was enough information, I think. Like, say, if you didn't know about Jason Todd and his backstory, I think it hit everything you needed to know. But it was, like, interesting to, like, read, and it was succinct, which is, like, you could spend 4 pages on any one of those moments, And so I was like, oh, wow, that's pretty cool. But at the same time, that's me saying that being a person that's like, I was here for all that, for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder what it would be like for somebody that did, like, literally, like, there are people out there that don't realize that there's been more than one Robin. And why did Joe laugh at those people?
I don't know. I just find their ignorance adorable.
Oh, geez, man. Well, that's true, though. It's like, there are people that don't know that. And so when they're like, wait, the second Robin, it's like, I'm wondering, like, does that person read that and feel the same way that I did? It was like, oh, I think I can wait with this. Like, okay, I know who this character is now. How would that person also happen to be reading this particular book? I don't know. It might be like, oh, I went to see the Suicide Squad movie, and let me go see if there's Suicide Squad comics. Like, that could be a thing. And this might scratch the itch of that potentially. What was that chat comment, Jay? Sorry.
Oh, Heck was saying there's more than one Robin?
Exactly. Right. Exactly. But what do you all think? Like,
That could be confusing if one died or was confused about their sexuality. And he's not confused. He knows, like,
He's talking about another Robin.
right. Tim Drake. He knows who he is.
It's a news story, but we don't know if we're gonna get
What that story is.
Yeah. So what did you all think about, like, the Jason Todd recap? Like, did that work for you all, or am I alone here?
It worked for me. It's not something I needed, so the fact that it just flew by that quick, when you talk about 5 pages, then it feels a little long. But I think this book is something like 48 pages. And,
Yeah, it is a
and there's
longer
actually stuff happening because comics is a visual medium. So while he's telling you this, there's stuff happening, and you're watching another recap of how he got in jail. So it does those. It's a two-prong, like meat
Right.
fork effect. The two prongs, and so it's just done well. And it doesn't surprise me that it's done well because as us assholes know that is good at this.
Yeah, right. How about you, Jay? How'd you feel about it?
I liked it. I really appreciated it. Like, I didn't need the info either, but I was glad it was there. It gave the issue more gravitas.
You should take me off the camera.
Yeah. Okay. And so, how about you, Oz? What was your take?
It's good. I've had that recap a few times, but that's me. But somebody walks into a comic book shop, just saw the movie, is like, "Oh, I want to read something about Suicide Squad." Oh, look, they're going after the Joker. Might not know that. So I appreciate that it's there and it's done well. It's drawn well. I think the whole first half of this comic is the best part.
Okay. So, obviously, as I mentioned before, you're a resident DC guy, and you're also a big, Batman fan, Nightwing fan specifically. So, we know that you're familiar with Jason Todd. What was it like? At what point does this book kind of like, I don't want to say fall apart for you, but obviously you weren't as keen on it as maybe like say a Moses being as a Nazarello fan or myself being a fan as well. Like what was it? What part of it fell apart for you?
I think it slowly starts to fall apart at the point where they're in the helicopter.
Okay. Oh, as soon as they bring up the insurrection, you're like, I'm out.
And not even that. I mean, that was a little bit long and protracted, but whatever. But
you're like those patriots.
But then, like I said, Maleev let me down because then I see his Joker, and that
you didn't like the Joker, huh?
No, he looked too much like what's Home Dude's face with the red balloon.
Pennywise.
Pennywise. He too Pennywise. Like you put green hair on Pennywise, and kind of feels like that's what this is. I don't know why he's wearing. I don't know why he's wearing on the outside with suspenders. The whole thing is weird. I didn't like that.
Oh, you're talking about like towards the end.
Yeah.
Right. And now,
I didn't know what I had that same question. I was like, why is that happening like that?
Now, Oz, did it feel to you like he looked a certain way in one panel and then different in another one?
Yeah,
that's the problem I had with it.
They showed the Joker when they do the recap, and he beat Jason Todd, and that Joker looked fine to me.
Yeah,
I thought that's what I was expecting, and then I get this totally different Joker.
But even towards the end, like for me, I felt like it looked from one panel to the next, he looked a little different. Like
it felt like Maleev rushed the second half of this book.
And that's kind of what I wanted to tell Larry earlier when he's talking about like you're not getting the art you get from Maleev, and I think it's a time issue. Like he drew what he could do well to get these books out on time, because if they're referencing the insurrection, it means it was written in this year, and we're in August, and they have to solicit it 3 months ahead, so that means it had to have been done at least by like March or February, and he's probably working on other stuff too. We don't know,
I didn't like how Waller falls for the fake pizza delivery guy thing. Like I felt like she should have seen that. I didn't even like her looking in her peephole. Like that's an easy way to get shot in the face.
Yeah.
Like I feel like she should have cameras, and if that's the Joker behind the door, like she should have a gun and just start shooting through the door.
So you feel like Waller should have cameras at a hotel room she just went to? Like,
I feel like Waller would be better prepared and would not fall for for the fake pizza delivery guy, especially when there's like, it's not just the Joker. Like maybe you could say, oh, he had a hat and certain angles, whatever. He had like 2 other dudes with him. Like
Right.
you look through a peephole, you see 3 dudes when you're expecting the pizza guy. Like, come on, at that point, something's up.
Yeah, I hear that. And that's fair. Like I do like I don't understand what was happening with what they were wearing.
Joe,
Like,
do you
I
have
don't.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No,
Joe,
no,
do
go
you
ahead.
have the picture before that that panel you just put up?
Yeah, I have before it.
Yeah, that has a Joker in it too, right?
Yeah, you want the one right before or the one from when they're outside the door?
The one where he's crashing through the door.
I think when he's cracking through the door, yeah.
Because that's the weirdest Joker. And I also don't know, like, I get maybe the door hit her in the face.
Yeah, like they seem like they kind of bust in a little bit.
Yeah, like that looks way different than what
The one in
he
the beginning.
the one that Joe showed first. So like,
Yeah.
but it's just the hat. And
I mean, the face plays a big part in it. You're right. The face is definitely different. And and you're right. Like maybe that could very well be just him.
Like even here
rushing.
in the bottom, he looks more Jared Leto, where at the other one he looked more like just a round kind of fat guy. Yeah. But I love that they did the Clockwork Orange thing like that. I loved so that actually saved it for me in from the art, that writing, But I'm an asshole.
Yeah, no, I mean, I personally like really enjoyed the story, and the art I felt was a bonus. But I do feel you, like it's one of those things where I do remember, especially like the photo or the picture that Joe showed, the panel he showed with them bursting in through the door. I remember looking at Joker's face and being like, "Wow, why does he look like that?" I didn't think Pennywise, but there's a good reason why I would think that, right? So it's like, I was like, oh, okay, but I get it. But you're right, like in my mind, when you're like, especially when you all were just speaking, you're like, oh, I don't like the way he draws Joker. My initial thought was the Jason Todd, like the recap, and it sounds like all of us think that Joker looks great. And honestly, it's like it like when you say it, like, okay, yeah, he was probably on some deadlines. It's like, yeah, I can see that, because like, especially like at the beginning, I'm looking, and one of the things that I was like wanted to mention was like, it's really interesting to me, like how when Death in the Family first came out, like people, well, I almost say people, but that art is very iconic, and people generally try to like replicate what Jason Todd looked like, what he looked like when he got killed by Joker. Like the caked on kind of blood on the face, and that's something that Maleev does here too. The only part where I was like, wow, like Maleev missed, like, I won't say he dropped the ball, but you have Batman holding Jason Todd's body, and it looks like in Maleev's shot, like he has both shoes, and everybody knows that Jason Todd only has one shoe after he gets
fetish coming out.
No, there's not a fetish. That's just fact.
He also had the little tidy greenies, right? Or did he have that?
No, I don't think so.
I gotta look it up now.
I think he has a tunic. Like, he has the little flaps on the side at least. He probably wears green too, but you can get away with not showing the little green, but if he has 2 shoes on, that means like you didn't read that book.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, no, but I'm sure Maleev read that book. But I'm like, I don't know.
I honestly think part of the issues with his art, for better or worse, were a time constraint issue. You know, it's what he could do, what he could give you in that time. And honestly, I'd rather have a book on time that has a good story than a book that takes forever to come out that has great art.
But no, and I'll give you that 100%. However, I will say that time constraint Alex Maleev is better than a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the time in the world.
It's better than
But
a lot of
I'm a fan.
better than a lot of people's first comic that they had their whole life to do, and they're selling it to you at Artist Alley. I don't want to disparage those people. We don't review those books when we don't like them for that reason, because we want to support those people, and But but yeah, we've seen a lot of stuff.
By the way,
We've seen a lot of stuff from professional people that don't look this good.
I was right. He does have the green thong or green booty shorts in the original.
He doesn't have.
He has the tunic, but I think because of all the damage, it's more damage than the Maleev image.
Oh, okay.
I think the bottom, like below the belt, is burned away because even like I'm pretty sure they were like little green shorts, but like I mean his ass is basically hanging out.
Oh, there you go.
Also, Batman's got the blue cape and cowl, not black.
Yeah, blue and gray.
Yeah.
Oh, is that not what he did in the book? What he do?
He did black and gray.
Oh,
I guess there's kind of like a grayish shade. You can maybe say there's a little blue in it, but
I usually, when it's those flashbacks, I usually don't trip out on it because it's like that perception in that moment. Like you.
I didn't even care about that image till Lawrence nitpicked on it.
Yeah,
I was more.
I nitpicked on the shoe,
but I mean,
so I feel like the shoe.
Lawrence, like the whole book is ruined because dude had an extra shoe on.
Right.
The image.
Oh, I was actually looking at the image, not the cover, but the actual image in the book.
Yeah, because like I feel like on the cover he has two shoes too.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Maleev's reference.
In the
but in the book,
well, that's
he only got the one
book. Yeah, the cover is like, okay, I'll do that.
He probably used the cover as reference to do it.
Yeah, because that does look like a cover image a little bit,
especially
but
time constraint.
Yeah, but everybody knows that's how you know that the Joker really beat the hell out of Jason Todd because that fool lost the shoe.
Well, we always joke around because my coworker got hit by a car when he was on his bike and he lost a shoe, and he's like, "I died." Because it's like, when somebody gets hit by a train or a car or something and they lose a shoe, they're dead. Yeah.
I'm mad that you would. This is the subject of your jokes at your work.
Hey, look, when there's downtime, that's what we talk about.
See, there it is.
In the animated version, he lost both shoes.
He got really fucked up.
But the rest of his costume was like perfect. He's got the red stockings and everything.
Man.
Batman has some big ass hands.
Yeah,
it's like each finger is one of his ribs.
Oh man! But anyway,
villains with.
So, Jay, how did you feel about the story and the art of this book? Like, is this a thing for you where you're gonna be like, I'm interested in issue 2. It's only 3 issues, so you read issue 1. What's your take?
No, I am interested in issue 2, just because I like the idea of Jason Todd going after Joker, and like when you put it apart as a Suicide Squad mission, like that's just inherently interesting to me.
Right.
As far as the art, I didn't really pay it much mind. Like it was there. But yeah, it didn't hit me in a good or bad way. It was just kind of there.
Okay. That's fair. Moses, am I safe to assume that you're in for issues 2 and 3?
Oh yeah. It's my only concern with this is the it's a DC Black book.
Yeah, Black Label. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not used to saying
He's like,
anything
is
Black.
it DC the Blacks? The
Yeah,
Blacks book.
DC Black.
The
I shared a little video clip here that you can play, Joe, if you can, or I'm sharing it, and it showcases that there's a bit of a let's see here. Again. So if you look right here, there's some shit, did it cut it off? There was some censorship where there's like a curse word that it doesn't show, but then at the end they show like we're so fucked. So and they say shit and bitch and stuff throughout it, but for some reason at the beginning of the comic they censored it, which if I'm reading DC Black, it's for no censorship. Like they already censored Lil Wayne on DC Black.
I know, right?
And now they're censoring this. Like
what is Little Wayne?
the penis.
What do you mean?
Bruce Wayne's dick. It's
Yeah.
Lil Wayne.
Damn.
Yeah.
Really? Is that what we were
Mhm.
calling it? Lil Wayne?
That's the word on the internet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does the rapper know?
He's a dick anyway.
It's true. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if he knows that he's named now his name is synonymous with Batman's penis. He
Look,
might like that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he'd be honored.
Yeah,
He
maybe.
might ask for royalties.
He's like, I lost out on Bling Bling, but I'm getting Lil Wayne.
Oh, the penis is Little Wayne, where the other guy is Lil Wayne.
Oh wow.
That's where
How they do us? Wow.
It's
We're
like
gonna go with the phonetic.
Yeah.
Wow.
well, the properly spelled.
Everybody knows that Lil Wayne looks just like Batman's penis. Like if you look at him.
Not if you picked up the wrong issue.
except for when he wears a hoodie, because Bruce Wayne's Jewish.
Oh wow.
Okay. But yeah, so that censorship is like, why? What was that word? Like you can't even tell because every other word is in the rest of the book.
Mhm.
And that one has, they put the asterisk and the ampersand and whatever the at symbol is, and it's like it's 6 of them, and it's like, is it some British thing I don't know about? And I don't, because I read the Grant Morrison book, and that, like, we'll get to that review in a little bit, but some of that dialogue is like, okay, Superman, make a point of having him talking a Midwestern drawl, but he sounds more like fucking Benedict Cumberbatch when I read that book. So it's like, but Azzarello's not British, so what cuss word was that? Yeah.
Right.
And it's used in different spots in a way that it's like, it can't be the same one. Yeah. And then it never happens again. So I thought that was weird, and I don't want, this felt like the Vertigo Suicide Squad book type, and I'm in. Like that's what I like about DC Black Label. They do the superhero stuff with the Vertigo kind of feel, and but censorship is not what I want from DC Black Label. Like DC, if you're listening, cut that shit right out. Like fuck that censorship. It's not like you're setting the world on fire with sales for your books. Like don't turn me off of the books you are putting out. Yeah.
Fair. So Oz, you've already said that, you're good. You're out.
Yeah.
What is it about this book? My first question is, what is it about this book that makes you out 100%, and you're just like, I don't need to read the other 2 of these issues? And then the other question I have is, talk to us about the members of this Suicide Squad, because you all know me. I'm not a huge DC guy, so some of these characters I know, but some of them I'm like, did Azzarello just make up these characters for for this book. So just confirm for me after you tell us why you're out. How many, like, from your knowledge, who are comic book characters? Well, how many of these people are characters that you never heard of until you read this book? So, yeah.
Now I gotta get to the page that has like okay. Well, as far as the story itself, like I said, about halfway through it, I like the original the first half, the Red Hood stuff, Red Hood talking to Waller and getting recruited, but he doesn't want to do it because he knows what it is. I like that stuff. But then it just starts to go downhill. Like I said, once the stuff with Waller happens, you know, I want to know what happens. Sure, it's not a horrible story, but I just don't have that kind of time. And
Gotcha.
as far as the characters, I mean, Firefly, you know,
Yeah.
Banshee, you know,
Right. And Wild Dog.
Wild Dog, yeah.
Yeah.
Who the hell else?
But like Pebbles, that's a new character, right?
Which one's Pebbles?
The black dude, like he feels like a DC Luke Cage, kind of like paramilitary Luke Cage.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought when they mentioned him too. Not too familiar with Pebbles. Mid-size.
But
He's a mid-sized sedan of the group. Oh, look, this pig I'm looking at.
not mid-sized sedan. And then what about Meow Meow?
I've never heard of her.
Okay.
She completely caught me off guard. Who's homegirl?
What about this? Say again?
Who's the homegirl bottom left? What's her name?
Oh, Plastique, right?
Plastique, I've heard of.
Yeah, I think that is a character.
And then obviously Wild Dog. Yonder
What about
Man,
this?
I don't I don't remember the name. I know there's teleporters, but there's always like several different teleporters.
I feel like if there was a
Yonder
Yonder Man in the DC universe, I feel like one of us would know that.
I can't think of a story with him. So him and I forgot her name already. Meow Meow. Him, Meow Meow, and Pebbles. I'm not familiar with. Like if they existed before, it was like a page in a book somewhere.
What about this Harley Quinn? You heard of her?
She sounds familiar. I don't know. I think she's just a Joker ripoff, to be honest.
But better yet, she's a punchline ripoff.
It's like you said, man. If you got the villain, then one of the heroes has to be on the other side of the coin, right? So you got
right.
Villain's the Joker, then you need
right.
Not the complete opposite, like not even a
yeah. But I thought that was interesting that that Azzarello created some characters, or at least seemingly created. Like, I mean, I guess it is possible that these characters exist somewhere and we just aren't familiar. But
Yonder
I'm just saying,
Man is new for the book.
Yeah, like Yonder Man, Pebbles, and Meow Meow feels very much like not part of the DC.
It bugged me more that Jason Todd had to be introduced to these characters.
I could see that, but at the same time, it's Black Label, right? So it's like, it's not so much that he had to be introduced to them, as much as it is like the relationships might be different because it's not continuity. You know, it's Black Label, so it's like he was obviously familiar with some of these characters, whether he was like intimately familiar with them or had just heard of some of them.
At the very least, like he should really know Harley Quinn.
Well, but he doesn't not know Harley Quinn. He knows Harley Quinn.
I mean, they should know each other. Like, I don't know, man. It's just it seemed more like, oh yeah, I've heard of her. Same thing with
impression.
Wild Dog and Firefly. He should definitely be familiar with.
I mean, but I guess, to me, it seemed like he knew Wild Dog definitely. He knew Firefly.
He knew everything. 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 He knew everything.
Well, okay. And then Firefly, he was familiar with because he like knew his real name and everything. And he was just more inquiring, like, why would we put him on a team? Because that guy is like a psychopath. You know what I mean? And so it's like, like it felt like he was familiar enough with most of the people, but at the same time, it's like I'm not expecting it to be, you know, main continuity DC, even though whatever that means at this point in time. We'll get into that in a little bit too. But it's like I'm not gonna mess around and feel like, oh, okay, well, he needs to be as familiar with all these characters as we are because he's been dealing with them for years and years and years because it's Black Label. Like technically this could be like, even though he's Red Hood, he could just be, slightly familiar because it's not like he's hanging out with Batman and fighting these people necessarily. But
Yeah,
that's just like my thought process on it. Like
that kind of explains your nitpicky stuff about the shoe. Like he's just a Jason Todd variant.
that's what it is. It's like this Jason Todd shouldn't be as mad at the Joker as he is because it's not like he got the shoe beaten off.
Yeah.
You're right. So okay. So I mean, listen. Let's go ahead. We've talked about the art. We've talked about the story. We talked about the characters. We talked about this particular take versus other takes. Like I personally, I really like the story, but I know not everybody's on that page. Let's just go ahead and give out some ratings, and we can move to the next thing. So Jay, why don't we start with you, buddy? What would you rate Suicide Squad, Get Joker number 1?
I would give it a 3 out of 5. Like, there's something there.
Got it. Moses Magnum, what would you give Suicide Squad, Get Joker number 1?
I would give it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it, and it's a good first issue. It did everything it needed to for me, and I can't wait to read the rest.
There it is. Oz, Suicide Squad, Get Joker number 1. What would you rate this book?
Same as Joe, 3, maybe 3.5. It's not for me, but it's not necessarily a bad book. I think my problem is I'm too close to these characters. And when you go off continuity, but you don't tell me it's going to be Elseworlds or something like that, then it bugs me a little bit that the characters aren't acting the way I think they would act in main continuity. So that, along with, me, weird art will throw me off a book no matter how good the story is.
Gotcha.
So that Joker, I was out.
Right. As for me, I give it 4.5 out of 5. I liked it a lot. Story's interesting. Dialogue is good stuff. The way the characters interact with each other really works for me. Yeah, in a lot of ways, I'm just like, and you also get Red Hood as like leading a Suicide Squad, which is just interesting in and of itself. And then you toss in the idea that the objective is to get Joker. Yeah, I'm in. I'll read the next 2. So good stuff for me. I liked it a lot. All right. You all ready to do some Superman versus... Oh, not versus. I'm sorry. Superman and the Authority?
Yes.
All right. So Superman and the Authority is a book with Superman depowered or not depowered, I'm sorry, a lesser powered Superman getting a group of powered individuals to basically help protect the globe and stop some threats that he believes might bring the world into peril. And he's getting help because his powers aren't what they used to be. And so, he needs some folks that can help him get the job done. And so it is a book written by Grant Morrison with art from Mikhail Hagen. And this issue is primarily about Superman recruiting the first member of the Authority, which is in this book, Manchester Black. So, which some of you are going to be like, I've never heard of that character, and others of you are going to be like, what? Manchester Black? But yeah, Manchester Black is a character that we've seen before. Dang, what was the name of Manchester Black's group? What's the name of that? What's the name of the DC animated joint? Superman versus. It's not the right. What is it?
It's the one based on the Joe Kelly book, right? On the Joe Kelly book. Yeah. Superman and
the Elite.
The Elite. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, Manchester Black was the head of a group of well, whether you want to call them anti-heroes or you want to call them supervillains, probably anti-heroes, probably the way to go. But he headed up his own super team called the Elite, and the Elite was basically an analog of the Authority in the DC universe. So that's the connection you get there. But that's the book, because basically the entire book is basically dedicated to Superman having a conversation and trying to recruit Manchester Black, which in a lot of ways is kind of the antithesis of Superman. So let's get some initial takes. What did you think? What did you think of this book, Jay?
I thought Manchester Black was more entertaining when he was in Teen Titans.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, the end. Got it. Moses Magnum, what did you think?
It was an interesting first book, and I wish it was a DC Black Label book, because I feel like it was too short. Like it just didn't. It like ended at a cliffhanger, but not like in a good way. You know, like I didn't get enough to really like be all in on. You know.
Right. Oz, what was your take on this book?
I'm upset that you thrust a Grant Morrison book on me like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's Grant Morrison.
I mean, but it's not Green Lantern Grant Morrison.
No, but he's ruining characters.
Oh. Who did he ruin in this book, in your opinion?
Superman and Manchester Black.
Wow, that's fair. That's fair. I personally, I enjoyed the book enough that I would read issue 2. I think it was an interesting choice to like have the entire first issue basically dedicated to recruiting one person. Not that I needed the entire team to be assembled in the first book, but this is basically a long conversation between Superman and Manchester Black with certain events happening in between. So, that's definitely like, it makes sense what Oz is saying when he's like, well, you're putting Morrison on me again. Like that feels like a very Morrison thing to do. At the same time, it's like, I didn't feel like the characters were necessarily that far off. Even though what I will do is I will turn right around and ask Oz, because Oz, I know that, there's a lot of DC books happening out there right now, but do you know, like, this, like, depowered version of Superman, or, I'm sorry, this lesser powered version of Superman, like...
That's kind of what was bugging me, is I wouldn't know why he was losing his power.
Okay, and I was trying to find that out too, and I don't know, like, like this book. I don't know if this is like main DC continuity, and that's like kind of like where like which I don't know what is and isn't main DC continuity anymore at this point. Like I understand that
No, it's
like death
this is
death metal happened,
this
and
is
then
an
after that,
continuity because it starts off in the 60s. Like it opens with
you said it is not, or it is.
no, it's not because it opens with him talking to Kennedy. It's automatically not continuity
Now, why is that
But-
automatically not continuity?
because main continuity Superman isn't from the 60s.
He's not. Why not?
Because he's contemporary.
I mean, well, I don't even know what that means though, because
It's like how in the one crisis there was main continuity Superman, and then you had old ass Superman who became Earth 2 Superman.
right.
After each crisis, there's a main continuity Superman, and it's not this dude. Right now, the main continuity Superman is the one with the sun.
Right, but I mean, technically, the main continuity Superman is the Sun, right?
Getting there.
Is he not Superman right now? I thought he was.
Right now, I have to check, but I think right now he's with the Legion.
Oh,
Become main continuity Superman.
Mute your mic.
Somebody's getting arrested.
Yeah, mute your mic.
They did Future State, but that was just like a temporary thing where now the main continuity books are kind of getting to where Future State was. For example, Future State had the next Batman, the Lucius Fox other kid. Well, main continuity books, you're getting to that point where the mayor is doing the whole the magistrate and the peacekeeper, and like that's all being set up right now, including that Batman is being set up.
okay.
So like Future State was just kind of like a glimpse into 3 years from now, maybe even not that far into the future, but not necessarily.
Okay.
Now. It was just a what they call it, Future State. They're looking.
Mhm.
So yeah, right now Jonathan is becoming main continuity Superman, but he's not quite there in the books. He's still learning.
Okay, so there's no version.
Either way, this isn't it. Main continuity Superman is out. I'm gonna say like 30s.
Yeah, but this guy's not old.
This guy was Superman in the 60s.
Okay.
60 years ago. Dude was an adult man 60 years ago.
He wasn't an old lad 60 years ago. He was a young man. He was like our age.
Look, by the time he's Superman, he's already working at the planet. Like he's an adult when he's Superman.
Right. What do you do? Right out of
Okay.
college.
Okay. All right. So
And he-
okay. So
Slower than everybody.
I'm just saying he's not main continuity. That's it.
and it
He might as well be Arrowverse Superman.
okay. That's fair because it is interesting because I know like before you were talking about like you don't like when they're not like certain about what continuity that your characters are in or whatever. And I know that
Here's
you-
the thing. Here's the thing about this book. That first page tells me it's not main continuity. It's Elseworld. I was in.
okay.
You find out that when he gets to present day, he's losing his power. I want to be in at this point, but I know it's Morrison. He's not going to tell me what happened. Like Morrison,
think so?
Morrison doesn't give a crap about what put Superman in this state. He gives a crap about getting the authority and setting that whole thing up.
Okay.
you know, that whole he's losing his powers, it's a throwaway that,
Got it.
he just, because it's Morrison, like he may explain it, but I don't have that faith in him.
He's gonna have
That's
egg
fair.
on his face when come issue 6.
I won't go that far.
Because
Which-
that's what he's
I love the art in this book. The art in
Yeah.
this book is amazing. I love it. I can give you more Mikkel.
Yeah, no, Mikhail Hayim is good. I agree. And you know, I very much would like to see what he does with the other characters in this book.
Also,
And
don't like the Manchester Black in this book.
what's wrong with him?
He's just like, when whatever Superman says, like, just the way Manchester Black like twists it feels forced. Like you're
Okay.
trying to make you're turning Manchester Black into like a bootleg Constantine, and it just doesn't work for me.
Now, what makes him a bootleg Constantine?
Like he's just got like non-stop attitude.
But that's Manchester Black. Like that's what he was in the beginning.
It's
Like,
just
unless I don't know, like I can't speak to
Yeah.
what he's been like.
Oz's
Oh.
comment turned your world upside down.
whoa. I just saw this. Yeah, it's just a little too much. It's
But that's how he is. That's how he was in Wildstorm, and he's kind of based on a Constantine type character. Like I think they're from the same town. Yeah.
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 It's I don't know. It was just it's a little too much. It's Grant Morrison. I don't have faith in him to like tone it down or explain anything. I think it's just I don't know.
I think he's going to give you an explanation, because the same thing happened in Superman. Like that's what he likes to do, especially when you write Superman. He likes to put Superman in a predicament where you wouldn't see Superman, and that's the starting off point of the story. That's what happened in All-Star Superman 2. You know, that's what happened in his Multiversity Superman. You know, so it's just. That's where, and but the thing is, when he does it, you can tell he loves Superman, because he gets to the core of the man, of the super. You know what I mean? And and that's where this story doesn't feel like it's going to be about Superman all that much, and that's where I feel the detriment would come. Yeah,
Yeah, and I agree that if Superman started losing his powers, I feel like he would recruit a team to take his place.
right.
And you know, the fact that this Superman talks about how they had the Justice League, but they made a lot of mistakes, and he even blames himself. He's like, "Look, I failed. It's my fault that it didn't work. I want you to be better." Like that does feel like a very Superman thing to do.
But
I'm
would
not
he-
saying he
would
doesn't
he pick
understand the
Blanco?
character. It's just
Yeah, but would he pick Manchester Black?
that's the thing. Like, you know, I mean, I understand he's supposed to be powerful, but you know, if you need a guy that's like some kind of addict and a dick, you call Constantine. Like he can do shit too.
Yeah, it's different than what he does, but the attitude is similar. One of the things that really that's one of the things that made me feel like this book was too short. Like I needed more information on why he picked him. Yeah, and I don't feel like I got enough of that in this book. Yeah, Jay, how do you feel about his interaction with Manchester Black?
You know, it was a little weird. Like again, like you say, I don't know why he went to Manchester Black. And yeah, like Manchester Black's an asshole. So why are you like I don't see what there is in Manchester Black where Superman is like, yeah, I could turn this guy around to good. Like nothing we see in this issue, to me, like, it will make you think that he is a candidate for that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, it's okay. Like, the interaction we do see is fine. But it's kind of like I don't know. Yeah, it's just I'm not sure where this is going or how it got there.
Some people are upset that this Manchester Black doesn't look like the Manchester Black in Supergirl.
What does he look like in Supergirl?
Like bootleg Idris Elba.
My only thing is I wish he had the Union Jack on his chest like he did in Teen Titans.
I mean, he's got the shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the symbol is a lot cooler because it's like the Superman shield, but the Union Jack.
Overall, the art I thought was really good, though. Like we talked about that earlier, but I really enjoyed it, and it would make me keep reading this. I have a lot of questions that I have for Morrison that I feel he might answer in the next few issues.
Well, he's only got 4 issues to do it in, so
Okay.
I hope he does answer the questions because maybe then you can tell me, but I doubt it.
You're not going to read the rest of it?
No. Like if I see some of the art for sale though, I might pick it up. Yeah, I really did like the art.
All right. So I think we should get into the reviews of it. What do you guys think?
okay.
The ratings. Jay, man, what would you give?
I would give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Whoa. I was not expecting that number.
I mean, I don't know that there's anything really here for me. Like, I'm not a huge Manchester Black fan. Morrison's hit and miss, writing wise, for me. This isn't even really the Manchester Black I'm most familiar with. And because the reason for them getting together isn't really interesting or compelling to me, there's just not that much here for me to be hype on.
I can see that. Oz, man, what would you give it?
I'm gonna say a 4. Grant Morrison is hit or miss, but dude can tell a story.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's one of those things where it's my personal issue because of the characters and my history with the characters. And
the thing is, he loves the same characters you love, but he likes putting them in fucked up situations that you don't like.
Yeah, but Morrison, at least, and I don't know if it's Morrison that did it or DC, but he tends to have on his books phenomenal artists.
Yeah,
and that like his Green Lantern stuff that I hate so much, it has amazing art.
Yeah,
this book is great art, but at the same time, like they're sitting on King Arthur's round table for like no explanation, like it's just there.
I think that's I don't know. I can't speak for Larry. I think his battery died, but I think that's an authority thing.
Okay, yeah. But like I said, my problems with this book have to do with me and my personal history with the characters. Grant Morrison can tell a story, and if you just go with it, sit down, enjoy the ride, it can be great, and the art is amazing. So yeah, it's 4. I think people should pick it up. Don't let my hang up stop you from reading what could be a great story.
Yeah. As for me, I would give it a 4 as well. I didn't enjoy it as much as I do like I did the Green Lantern book. But it's just a start. With the Green Lantern, I actually like ran in and read a bunch at a time, you know. But yeah, this is a 4 for me. I have faith in Grant Morrison, especially if he's got 4 issues. So I know he's got a plan here, you know, and we'll see it. We'll see it come out. Oh, that's the last page right there. That
Yeah.
suit looks weirdly stretched out there in terms of the art, but like that torso doesn't match that leg. But I think it's kind of a warped perspective too, kind of fisheye effect. But yeah, 4 out of 5 for me. We doing any news or anything? I want to get out of here.
Yeah, we're getting out of here.
Yeah, I'll just put the music in post. I'm getting a weird echo and feedback thing, and I think the music's gonna really fuck it up. So, Joe, man, give us some final thoughts.
Yeah, fuck you, Netflix. Like, you knew I wanted to get rid of your service after this month of me catching up, and you put fucking Kid Cosmic Season 2, like, right at the beginning of September. Like, that's some bullshit, yeah.
Oz, man, give us some final thoughts.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, Stargirl's out. Check it out. Also, if you just jumped into this show at some point and you want to catch the rest of it, but don't want to, if you're on your cell phone or whatever, don't want to use up your bandwidth, we also have a audio version of this show on Podbean. I believe you can subscribe, and that link is not up this second, but I'm sure by the time you watch this and want to download it, it'll be on our fantasticforum.live link thing.
Well, it's everywhere you get your podcasts.
Or
Just
that.
the
Yeah.
Fantastic Forum and then
Yeah, just if you got an iPhone or Google Store, whatever, you can find us everywhere.
Pandora, Spotify.
Yeah, download and hit the like button and all that stuff too, because that helps us penetrate into the algorithm.
Yeah,
whatever you call her.
Get a 3 knuckles deep in the algorithm. As for me, yeah, man, hit like, subscribe. I put up the Sandman Lock and Key #1 review. I don't know when issue 2's coming out. I think they're coming out like 6 months apart or something. I think it's already delayed. And so I was trying to put it on when issue 2 came out, but I figured I just did it. We were a little low on content this week. And so I put it up. Check that out. Hit a like, subscribe, and all that. And we'll hit you here next week, right here. We're out.